Hi, this is Missy McTaggart and this is my second video on the indices topic. On this one we're going to be raising powers to powers. Now that'll make more sense when you see it written out. And we're also going to be talking about the power zero, so I've kind of covered in two rules in one. Prior knowledge before we start this though is you should already know the two rules for multiplying and dividing indices. For multiplying we add the powers, for dividing we subtract the powers. Otherwise some of these questions aren't going to make sense to you. So before I go in to show you the rules of indices, I like to try and prove them. So this first little example here of m to the power 4 squared, that is what is termed raising a power to a power. This doesn't say m to the power 4 times m squared. It says m to the power 4 all squared. Now if I write out this the long way, this is the same as saying m to the power 4 times m to the power 4. Now, using our previous video or previous rule of indices, when you're multiplying two letters together, you add the powers. So this would become m to the power 4 plus 4, which is 8. Now, I can't possibly write this all out all the time, especially when it becomes into negative and fractional powers. So there must be a shortcut. And the shortcut is, how else can you make an 8 from a 4 and a 2? Well, you can multiply them. So the rule for raising a power to a power is you multiply the two powers together. But if you ever forget, take yourself back to a very basic example like this and think, right, what would it be if it was m cubed all squared? Something you could write out first of all to let you visualise and remember, because it's really, really common to say that this is m to the power 6. Right, the other one I'm going to show to you is anything to the power 0. So I'm going to take this little very basic number pattern. 2 to the power 4 is 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 8, 16. 2 cubed is 8. 2 squared is 4. 2 to the power 1 is just 2. So following my number pattern, I'm going 16, 8, 4, 2. It's pretty clear that I'm just halving everything. So this would just give me 1 and then this would give me 1/2. So what I'm looking at is this. 2 to the power 0 is 1. Now if we look at this other example here of x squared over x squared, well, using the rule of indices, when you're dividing, you should subtract them. So that would become x to the power 2 minus 2, which is 0. But we also know in maths that anything divided by itself is 1. So if I've got x squared divided by x squared, it's dividing by itself. So that also equals 1. Another example would be 5 divided by 5 equals 1. Now, all of these are giving me the answer of 1. So it's safe to say that anything with a power 0 equals 1. So here are two rules written out in kind of mathematical formula form. So just a wee reminder, m to the power n, we multiply the powers, so that's why I've stuck m and n together. And anything to the power 0 at all becomes the number 1. Okay, whether it's a letter or whether it's a number. So we're going to look at some examples that combine both of these. So my very first example, nice and straightforward, a to the power 4 cubed. So just a reminder, if you were stuck in an exam and you forgot, oh God, how do I do this? You could think, right, well that's a4 times a to the power 4 times a to the power 4, add them up, gives you 12. Or we just multiply the 4 and the 3 together. So it's a to the power 4 times 3, which you don't have to write, I'm just writing it for the sake of the video, for a visual. It gives you a to the power 12. Now it's the exact same rule when it's negatives. We're going to multiply the 8 and the 3. So this would give you b to the power negative 24. Now, there is another way of writing negative powers, but we're going to talk about that in another video. That's for another day. Now let's look at question 3. Obviously, let's make it a wee bit harder and put some numbers in. Now, a really common answer here is to say 3k to the negative 6. So I'll give you the fact, 3 times negative is negative 6. So that's correct. But what you need to watch here is, if you were to think of this as a long way written out, you would have that. You would have 3k to the negative 3 written out twice. And then you would do 3 times 3 is 9. So actually what's happening here is you're squaring the 3 as well. So if I was doing this in class, I would put a wee side note saying that you raise everything to the power. I'm on the wrong pen mode, sorry. So you would raise everything to the power. And I would put everything in big bold letters. So you would raise everything to the power outside. And hopefully that's bold enough. So we're doing 3 squared, we're doing k to the negative 3 squared as well. So let's try that with the next one. So I've already said that we're going to raise 2 to the power 4, and And then we're going to multiply the powers for this one, so this gives us negative 8. And of course, 2 to the power of 4 is 2, 4, 8, 16. So final answer is 16x to the negative 8 for now, okay? In another video, we'll see how to write these with positive powers instead of these negative ones. But if you're doing these in order, we've not covered that yet in class, okay? So then I said, okay, wait a minute, we're going to go over the power 0 as well. So in this one, you've got y to the power 5 raised to the power 0. So you do 5 times 0, which is just 0. And y to the power 0 is just 1. So the minute you see something to the power 0, it can just be written as 1. Now this one here with a fraction, remember what I said, we're going to raise everything to the power 2. So we're going to do 2 squared, we're going to do 3 squared, and then we're going to do 4 times 2 for the power here, which gives us 8. And then to write that a wee bit nicer, we know that 2 squared is 4 and 3 squared is 9. So we've got 4 over 9p to the power 8. Okay? And for my final question, we've got this wee one here. So we're going to multiply this out. So the first term would give us 2y, add your powers gives you 5. The second term would give us 2y, and 3 minus 3 gives us 0. And the minute you see that power 0, you have to think, oh, wait a minute, power 0 equals 1. But watch, right? Only this bit equals 1, not the 2. So this essentially says 2 times 1. So we're left with 2y to the power 5 plus 2. And I was actually teaching this recently in class, and they kept coming up with examples like they had 5 to the power 0 and they just said that was 1. But the minute we wrote 5x to the power 0, they also wanted to say that was 1, but it's not. It would be 5 times 1, which would be 5. So just watch. It's only the thing raised to the power that becomes 1. If you have a number in front of it, then it's that number times 1. Okay? So I hope this helps. Usually a power 0 comes up in a kind of multiplying out a bracket type question like that. So thanks very much for watching. Hope this helps. There will be another video coming up when we start to do negative powers and fractional powers. So have a look for that as well. Thank you. Bye.